In ancient Persian and Jewish history, few figures are as captivating as this young woman, the queen whose courage and wisdom saved her people from destruction. The story of this queen is narrated in the Book of Esther, found in the Hebrew Bible, and is a saga of heroism, intrigue, and redemption. Her journey, from a young Jewish orphan to becoming Queen of Persia, is fraught with thrills, mysteries, and surprising twists and turns. Taking advantage, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Birth and early life. Esther was born calling herself Hadassah, a Hebrew name meaning myrtle. She was a Jewess living in the city of Shushan, the capital of the Persian Empire, during the reign of Xerxes I, also known as Ahasuerus. Her parents died when she was very young, leaving her an orphan. She was raised by her cousin Mordecai, a man of great faith and wisdom, who adopted her as his own daughter. Mordecai is an important character in the Book of Esther in the Old Testament of the Bible. He was a Jew exiled to Shushan, capital of the Persian Empire, and was the cousin and tutor of Esther, a young Jewish woman who became Queen of Persia after taking her advice. Mordecai was a devout man, who taught Esther to live according to the precepts of the Jewish faith. Their life in Shushan was marked by discretion, for at that time Jews often faced hostility and prejudice. Mordecai instructed Esther to keep her Jewish identity a secret, a precaution that would later prove crucial. The Persian Empire at the time was vast and diverse, encompassing many nations and cultures. Xerxes, the king, was a powerful ruler, but his court was a melting pot of political intrigues and power struggles. Queen Vashti, the original wife of Xerxes, fell from grace by refusing to display her beauty before the king's nobles during a feast. This act of disobedience led to his deposition, creating a void on the throne alongside Xerxes. The ascension of Esther. To find a new queen, Xerxes ordered a search throughout the kingdom, gathering the most beautiful young women. Esther was chosen to be taken to the king's harem. Mordecai advised her not to reveal her Jewish origin and her real name, Hadassah. Thus she came to be known by the Persian name, Esther, which means ye-star. Esther quickly won the favor of Haggai, the eunuch in charge of the harem, who gave her special care and the best position among the young women. When it came time for Esther to be presented to the king, Xerxes was so enchanted by her beauty and grace that he chose her as his new queen, placing the royal crown on her head. The sleepless night of King Xerxes. One night, in the great palace of Susa, King Xerxes could not sleep. In search of distraction, he ordered his servants to bring him the book of the Kingdom Chronicles. As the chronicles were read, Xerxes was reminded of the conspiracy of Bigtan and Tur, two eunuchs who had planned to assassinate him. Mordecai, a Jew who worked at the gates of the palace, discovered the plot and informed Queen Esther, saving the king's life. Intrigued, Xerxes asked what had been done to reward Mordecai and was surprised to learn that nothing had been done. Determined to correct this injustice, the king decided to honor Mordecai. At that moment, Haman, the king's prime minister, was approaching to ask permission to hang Mordecai. Xerxes asked Haman what should be done to honor someone the king wished to reward. Haman, thinking that the king was referring to him, suggested that this person be clothed in royal clothes, mounted on the king's horse, and led through the streets of the city with great honor. The king then ordered Haman to do this to Mordecai. Full of humiliation and anger, Haman had to carry out the order. He clothed Mordecai in the royal clothes, placed him on the king's horse, and led him through the streets of Susa, proclaiming, "Thus is it done to the man whom the king desires to honor." The city was amazed by the unexpected twist. After the parade, Mordecai returned to his post, while Haman, ashamed and desolate, returned home. His wife and friends recognized that this was a bad omen for Haman, foreshadowing his imminent fall. This event marked a crucial turning point in Esther's history, foreshadowing the justice and salvation of the Jude people. The conspiracy of Haman. As Esther adjusted to life in the palace, a new threat arose for the Jewish people. Haman, one of the king's most powerful advisors, harbored a deep hatred for Mordecai. This hatred intensified when Mordecai refused to bow before him, an act Haman considered a personal affront. Haman was the son of Hammedatos and descendant of Agag. Haman was married to Zeres, who had 10 children. Haman, a manipulator and vindictive, devised a plan to exterminate all the Jews of the empire. He convinced Xerxes to issue a decree ordering the annihilation of all Jews on a given date. The decree was enacted and spread panic among the Jewish community. The sacrifice of Esther. Mordecai, hearing of the decree, begged Esther to speak to the king. Esther faced an agonizing dilemma. Entering the king's presence without being summoned was punishable by death unless the king extended his golden scepter. However, Mordecai reminded her that she might have become queen just for this moment of salvation. With courage and determination, Esther asked the Jews of Susa to fast and pray for 3 days. She also fasted, preparing spiritually for the difficult task ahead of her. On the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes and entered the king's presence. Xerxes, seeing her, extended the scepter, sparing her life and allowing her to speak. The banquet and the revelation. Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet, where she planned to reveal her identity and ask for the salvation of her people. During the banquet, Xerxes, curious about Esther's request, promised to grant anything she wished, even half her kingdom. Esther, however, postponed her request, inviting them to a second banquet the next day. At the second banquet, Esther revealed Haman's plot and true identity as a Jew. She pleaded for the life of her people, denouncing Haman as the architect of the impending genocide. Xerxes angrily ordered Haman to be hanged on the very gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. The salvation of the Jews. Although Haman was dead, the royal decree of extermination was still in effect, for the laws of the Persians and the Medes could not be repealed. Esther and Mordecai worked together to find a solution. King Xerxes authorized a new decree, allowing the Jews to defend themselves from their enemies. On the appointed day for the slaughter, the Jews, strengthened by this new decree, rose up and prevailed over those who sought to destroy them. The immortalization of Esther. Esther's bravery not only saved her people, but also established the celebration of Purim, a festival commemorating the liberation of the Jews from annihilation. The name Purim comes from the word Pur-e, which means vilak-e, referring to the draws made by Haman to determine the day of the massacre. The story of Esther is a powerful reminder of courage and faith. His legacy is celebrated annually by the Jews during Purim, where reading the Book of Esther, sending gifts of food, donations to the poor and festivities are observed. Death and legacy. Details of Esther's death are not recorded in the Bible, leaving an air of mystery about her final years. However, the influence of his life. Jewish tradition suggests that she may have lived many years after the events described, continuing to serve as queen and supporting her cousin Mordecai, who became a senior officer in the empire. Esther is remembered not only as a queen, but as a heroic figure who risked everything to save her people. His story continues to inspire millions, symbolizing the importance of courage, wisdom, and faith in the face of adversity. The saga of Esther, from her childhood as Hadassah to becoming the Queen of Persia, is an exciting testament to how one can make a difference. With mystery, intrigue, and unwavering bravery, Esther sailed the dangerous waters of Persian politics, protecting her people and securing her place in history. Your life is a powerful reminder that regardless of circumstances, courage and faith can change the course of history. The story of Esther continues to be told and celebrated, a shining star in the firmament of the collective Jewish memory and humanity. God bless you.